Avery, whose show is this?
Saga.
And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, senior Lakers insider, as well as lead Lakers content creator for Offside. Joined on this fine, really fine, actually fine Thursday night by Harrison Fagan of SB Nation, of Silver Screen and Roll, of My Worst Nightmares. How you holding up, bud?
I'm good. I think I've made it through this entire week on like 8 hours of sleep total. And I'm hanging in.
I realized I didn't turn
Cup
on
of
the
coffee
filter for my
number
face.
like 8 of the day.
Well, you don't drink. Do you do caffeine?
Oh no, this is caffeinated. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
I'm not young anymore.
What's that?
I'm not young anymore. I need the caffeine.
Yeah, I don't do caffeine. Like the only caffeine that I take is Excedrin. Because my cardiologist was like, you either can drink alcohol or take in caffeine. Your heart can't take both. And I was like, easy choice. Today on the show, loaded show. We have so much to talk about. Today was a trade deadline. There are still buyout options that are on the way potentially. The Lakers played a game. Luka pulled his hammy. Austin came back. It's just like, honestly, one of the more packed shows that we will probably have here. So normally Harrison and I would kind of bullshit. There was an entire, like, outside of the Lakers, there was a whole trade deadline. Anthony Davis is a muggle. You have so much that took place throughout the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo does not get traded, which means the Lakers now have a shot at him this summer, even though I would really prefer they don't take that shot. There is so much to talk about. Normally Harrison and I would kind of bullshit our way through the first like 5-10 minutes or so of the show.
We could have done a 10-minute riff on just Giannis's quotes in the last week.
We will. Like when we get to Giannis, we will. But like we're just gonna dive on in. Quick reminder, as always, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, please turn on those notifications. If you guys are listening in the morning via podcast, please turn on, please subscribe to the show, rate, review, all that good stuff. Download the show illegally to your friends' phones. To like all of us at this point,
I don't think that's illegal. I think that's legal. It's
if the other person doesn't know about it, I think you probably shouldn't be in your friends' phones and stuff.
Yeah, but like you're not gonna go to jail. That's my point. You're not gonna go to jail. You can do it.
Look, we all have older parents. They don't know how to use their phone. Just download the show. Like turn on, auto download and all that good stuff. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll start with the game and kind of quickly touch on this one. I think there are two notes to take away from this game. One, fuck, Luka, damn it. The Lakers beat the 76ers 119-115. It was a genuinely fun game. Like it was an actually really fun basketball game, back and forth. The Lakers did just enough to hold the Sixers off. Austin Reaves was incredible. Apparently, I'm seeing the stat that's kind of floating around that Austin played the fewest minutes in Lakers history to score 35 or more points. He did so incredibly efficiently in this game. He scored in those 25 minutes. He scored 35 points on 12 of 17 from the field, 5 of 8 from three-point range, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Also grabbed 6 rebounds,
including the final one to close out the game.
Yeah, like he was everywhere. The Lakers looked significantly better anytime he was on the court. The other story from this game in a more macro sense, in a micro sense, Maxi Kleber was really, really good. In a macro sense, and in terms of things that matter kind of moving forward, Luka exits in the second quarter, grabbing that hamstring, did not come back. the Lakers didn't provide an update basically until after, or like with a few minutes left in the game when it was like super close and it was like back and forth and crazy three pointers were being hit and all this stuff. And the Lakers like, by the way, look this out. And it was like, um and so like I think both stories are obviously, I would say, similarly important. So which would you prefer to start with? Like, what does it mean to the Lakers with Luka being out? Austin's return and the way that he looked. Where do you want to start, Harrison?
I think we have to start with the Luka part of it. I mean, I know that that's not the most fun element of this, but it is the most meaningful part of tonight's game.
Yeah,
I am actually, I will say, as far as a positive takeaway, obviously Austin was great. Maxi being good is like, that's fun. I don't know how sustainable or like repeatable that is, but that was good. For them to get a win when they could have been completely deflated by the Luka injury and him not even coming out at halftime. And there are past years where I feel like we've watched Lakers teams that would have rolled over. To be honest, I feel like if Austin wasn't playing tonight, this Lakers team would have rolled over. But
yeah,
they were able to sort of stay strong, and they kept chipping away, and they actually built up quite the lead before just like forgetting that there were like 3 minutes left in that basketball game and almost just giving it away at the end. But
yeah.
they held on to win, and so I would say that that's positive. But yeah, I mean, the number one top line takeaway of tonight's game is what's up with Luka, and that you know it didn't look great to me. The fact that he was walking over and kicking the scorer's table, and then that he didn't even start the second half. There was like seemingly no thought of like he didn't warm up, according to the beat reporters there. That's concerning.
Yeah, it was weird because it happens and Luca did that walk that will happen when you pull a hammy where you're reluctant to bend your knee because that involves your hamstring pulling your heel up towards your butt. Um so he did that at first and I was like, "Oh shit, that looks like a really bad one." But then he walked to the locker room and didn't really even have a limp and was kind of more angry than seemingly hurt. Now, Luca is always more angry than any other emotion whenever he's playing basketball.
That's accurate.
So it's like I didn't know what to take from any of it. I'm hoping like it didn't because there wasn't like he didn't it was weird because he made the play and I thought initially like he bumped knees at first. And then like as he like went to walk up the court or go up the court, he grabbed his hammy. It was a super weird play that I don't really recall like the moment that he tweaked. There was no explosive move. He was just like gonna go back up the court, and then he reached down and grabbed his the back of his leg, and which almost sometimes makes you more nervous than anything, right? Because it's in those moments when it's non-contact and it's not explosive, and your leg just kind of gives out that you're like, shit, what was that there? Also with Luca, given his history with soft tissue injuries at this like kind of point in his career, that's also a bit concerning. And it's also like just kind of selfishly, if like people don't mind me whining for a second, and I know you guys all agree with this, it just sucks. Just got Austin back. He has
Yeah.
this incredible game, and like Austin, Luca, and LeBron, I think even including tonight, have only played like 9 or 10 games together. And the vast majority of the minutes that they've played together have had Rui in them. And it's just like a unit that just hasn't made any sense. You finally like Rui is now out of the starting lineup. The rotation is starting to make a little bit more sense. Austin finally gets back, and now Luca pulls his hammy. I'm not blaming anybody or anything like that. This is just pointless whining, but I feel like it's the kind of thing that Lakers fans are also kind of agreeing with as they punch their pillows. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the hell, basketball gods? This sucks. And yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. It's a real bummer that he went down that way. And look, he already apparently is getting an MRI or is going to get an MRI. Sometimes they wait on the MRI so that the swelling can kind of subside depending on the injury. So I don't know if he's going to get it tonight or if he's going to get it tomorrow morning. But fingers crossed that he is okay and that the Lakers can at some point this regular season, even dating back to the preseason, get Luka, LeBron, and Austin on the court at the same time, so that they can develop any kind of chemistry or get those reps in. Um, let's pick up the vibe and talk about Austin though, because in a game that featured Tyrese Maxey, featured a Joel Embiid, who is like has kind of regained some of that Joel Embiid swag recently. I follow a lot of Sixers fans. We are both friends with a lot of Sixers fans.
Yeah.
And there's been some like legit excitement about Joel and all that stuff. Obviously, the Sixers playing without Paul George, who was suspended for 25 games. So you have that going on. VJ Edgecombe, I thought was kind of up and down in this game, but hit the biggest three. It's such a stupid three that he made.
I legitimately thought he was about to go full Reggie Miller on the Lakers right there. Like I thought that was about to be the 8 points 9 set. Like when he got the first one, I was like, this is not good.
Yeah, he hit that for well, I was first really angry at Smart because he was kind of lazy taking in that pass, like go to the basketball in that spot and make the defender run through you to get to it. And then he makes a shot. I'm like, oh my God, this is about to be one of those just like
no hesitation either, just like on the catch of an interception.
Yeah. Oh,
just
you knew
puts it up, and it was like disgusting.
He shot it from JJ's lap.
Yeah,
like he was like in the bench's laps when he shot that thing. You knew it was going in immediately, but even still, even given all the nonsense kind of at the end of the game and the Lakers attempt to give it away, Austin was incredible. I thought he was the best basketball player on the court tonight. This was a game that had Luka for a portion of it. LeBron's out there, Maxey is out there, Embiid is out there. I thought Austin was pretty clearly actually the best player out there. And it was like this very important reminder. This is a point that Ross has been making a lot lately, that like, yes, the Lakers don't have a very good point differential and stuff like that. They also haven't had their probably second best player, for a quarter. Well, at this point, a half of the season. He will have missed a quarter of the season by the end of the year. He comes back tonight, and immediately I thought, reminds everybody, oh yeah, that's right. He was playing at an all NBA caliber. He was going to be an all-star before he sustained that injury. And just a brilliant game from Austin. I was, every big shot that the Lakers needed to hit, he did. And I don't know, man, if he's going to play like that, like I know there's all these questions about him and Luka, and there's all this stuff about like the Lakers moving forward. Should the Lakers have included him in a Giannis trade over the course of this last week? I don't think it would have mattered because I don't think Milwaukee was ever all that interested in trading Giannis. But yeah, Austin, unbelievable game.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those nights where it's just occasionally guys just look like they're touched by God. And it's just like every single time it touches their hands, like it looks like it's going in. And he was just on that level of heater tonight. It was just like you said 12 for 17. I didn't realize he missed 5 times. Like I would have taken the under if you would have said,
I think it all happened in the first quarter, honestly. Like 3 of them happened in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I know that we're going to get into the trade deadline and the team building aspect of all of this in a few minutes, but like I do think that this is one of the areas, for as much as we're going to criticize Rob Pelinka at times, like this collection of talent is better because of how mismatched the roster is and how top heavy it is in terms of like ball handling and creation. This is the plus side of the Rob Pelinka way of roster building, is that you are able to sustain an injury to a guy like Luka, and you have Austin to step up there, and even on a night when LeBron's not particularly good, like you have 2 guys of that caliber where you're able to sustain it, and arguably your roster fits better together without like those 3 guys having to all share the ball. And I don't think that that's a great thing for your playoff upside, but I do think that it is like the Lakers are going to be able to steal wins like this because they have guys like Austin that are overqualified for the role that they're in.
So LeBron in this one had more turnovers than made field goals. Luka plays less than half of this game. And as a team, I thought that the Lakers, like you said earlier, like this felt like one of those games that they were like holding on, holding on, holding on, and then Philly would start making threes and the Lakers would lose by like 25 or whatever. But I really thought that like Austin's shot making, and it's just something, Harrison, about shot making. Like people always kind of wonder why there's such this grand divide between former players and nerds when it comes to the way that Kobe is looked at. And I
Yeah.
think basketball players and like professional basketball players really value shot making. It
Because they
resonates.
know how
They
hard
know,
that is.
yeah, like they know how much work goes into making those shots as frequently as Kobe made them. And tonight, some of the shots and some of the takes that Austin was having in this one, I thought really resonated, like really kind of pumped up the Lakers and was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go out and win this thing. We're only down by 5. Let's give it a
Yeah, it's
go.
almost like if he's hitting that, we can win this game, maybe,
Right. He had that
Like,
he had that one grenade, remember? Like the ball like got kicked out to him. He barely had a chance to he didn't have a chance to dip. He just like shot it
yeah,
basically from the hip from like 30 feet away and it goes in. And I'm like, you know what? Like go win the game. You
yeah.
like and I actually thought because LeBron had that one really sloppy turnover where he like dribbled the ball off of his foot 5 times in one possession and then eventually actually did turn the ball over. And I was like, oh, like LeBron's fucking around this game. Okay. But I really think that like Austin making the shots that he made kind of locked LeBron in. And there were some possessions late in that game where LeBron defensively really got after it. And the late like he had a
I
rebound where
also
he
thought
like
his pushing in transition was a big part of them making their run to push
yes,
it out.
absolutely that. And he had a rebound over Dominic Barlow today that he like went over the top of Dominic Barlow. And like that's the kind of rebound that LeBron gets only if he thinks that the Lakers can actually win that game. And you know what I mean? Like I feel like something
I
like
love
if
the
you
idea
feel
that he time freezes for him and he's like, okay, do we have a chance to win this one? Like, how high should I jump? How much how much of my hamstrings do I want to use up tonight? The
yeah.
tread left in the tires.
Yeah. But he got up and he got that board. And like you said, there was a ton of plays that he got out and pushed it in transition. He had a play tonight, Harrison, where he dunked it almost from the free throw line. This is a 41-year-old man dunking it from the free throw line. I I turned 40 this year, and like there are times where I wonder if I could shoot it from the free throw line. So like this guy, like it's unbelievable what this guy is so capable of doing. And I really think that like the Lakers don't even try to win this game without Austin playing the way that he does. And I actually think that's really important kind of moving forward because I do kind of wonder if belief in the season was kind of slipping away before Austin got back. Now Austin is back and they're going into kind of like a tougher stretch of the season. A lot more home games, which is going to help. But I do kind of wonder like Austin making his return here. Hopefully Luka is okay. But I really think that like this season had it like we were kind of sort of nearing a fork in the road. And Austin coming back kind of reminds everybody like, no, actually, in terms of the top of the roster, the Lakers match up fairly well with a lot of teams.
I also do think that we're going to have to come up with a drinking game for like white guy cliches, given how much the Lakers have loaded up on them down the stretch. But like how hard Austin plays, I do think was something that this team genuinely missed while he was
Yeah.
out. I think that can be a galvanizing force, like how he pushes in transition, how he's willing to stay in there and take hits and take charges and all of that stuff. Like I just think that stuff does have a little bit of a trickle down effect for like as good as Luka is, that's not an aspect that he necessarily brings to the game. And so I do think that they can complement each other in that way. Obviously, like you want to have both of them, not just the one. But I do think that in nights like tonight, they need someone like Austin that's willing to stay in there, take the hit, the shot making aside, and just like pushing and like hustling every single possession.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, like again, white guy cliches, was just that's like maybe I should just like put up a sign. There should be like
We need a
instead of like
graphic for
Lakers
white guy
Lounge up here.
cliches. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe instead of like Lakers Lounge up here, like every so often is like white guy compliment, But
Yeah.
like Maxi Kleba tonight was a good example of this, where it was just like
Can we
play
get a
hard.
mayo sponsor? You know,
Hate mayonnaise. Ugh.
can we get a cracker deal?
Yeah. Is there like a different like white people condiment that we can use instead of mayo? I hate mayo.
Well, so we got crackers maybe as an endorsement opportunity. We got maybe we could
Would
get like
just be
some sort of a white
cocaine?
wine makes a deal with us. We could have
Okay.
like the official exciting white of the night brought to you
Mhm.
by white wine brand
La
to be named
Crema,
later.
please, La Crema, get at me, get at me. But yeah, like Maxi, I thought tonight like completely changed the game because Aiton again kind of like fell into his funk and did not play in the fourth quarter. Only played 20 minutes on the night, and yeah, I thought like with the way that Maxi was playing, like the Lakers don't win that game without Maxi, and I really think that like this team and it's been kind of a trend with like Rob Pelinka built teams that like you have a lot of guys who are not used to doing those little things.
Yeah.
And like when those guys who do the little things get out there, it's like, oh shit, like somebody actually can set a screen or can dive for a loose ball, can take a charge, can make the extra rotation.
It's why Marcus
It really
Smart's
stands
plus
out.
minus was so crazy at the beginning of the year was because it's like, it's he dives for balls sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna hustle on that closeout.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the trade deadline and the Lakers. Right. In terms of actual news here, they trade Gabe Vincent and a second rounder for Luke Kennard. I know. This is going to sound like whining, but the more I've kind of thought about it over the course of the day, giving up a second rounder to rent Luke Kennard for a few months, like, don't love that in terms of
I
asset
believe your
management.
last second rounder available, right?
Yeah, like just I don't know. But like I understand what they're doing. You needed to use Gabe. I think specifically, this is a point that I was making in the offside chat tonight that like sometimes front offices need to save coaches from themselves.
Yeah.
And like I don't think this is a game that the Lakers win if Gabe plays his usual minutes. And
I was thinking the same thing.
I actually thought watching JJ handle this game, he looked actually lost in
We
terms of
were
his rotation because he was like, he looked down the bench, he's like, get I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like, Dalton, get out there. In the first quarter, was like, who? What? Even Dalton was like, why?
Yeah. Dalton was like, didn't I get traded? No, I guess request not granted.
He made that request at halftime again. He was like, are you sure
Yeah.
you can't trade me? Yeah.
Can you cut me? I saw Cam Thomas got cut. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Um,
Why'd you pick
yeah,
up my option?
it's funny. I was thinking the same thing when Dalton was that, like, if not the first sub, he was one of the first subs into the game without Gabe. And I was like, oh, JJ's like, he's just, throwing spaghetti at the wall here to hope that something sticks. And
Yeah.
he is really like not certain what to do without his security blanket in Gabe Vincent. But I do think, like, I agree. I think that the Lakers, just by virtue of being bigger without Gabe Vincent out there and not asking the smallest guy on the floor to be their defensive stopper, I think
Yeah.
we're better off tonight. Like, I think just that having that more positional size was probably part of having those smaller lineups work. Like, I don't know if the Maxi at center lineups work as well if Gabe is out there as sort of like a weak link entry point. I also think that like you could tell that JJ was searching a little bit with the like I know Austin's on a minutes restriction. LeBron wasn't that great tonight, but like the non-Austin, non-LeBron minutes without both of them, it's like, what's the plan here? And the plan, I think, was Gabe Vincent, and he just forgot he wasn't there. And
Yeah.
nor was that like, also forgot that wasn't a good plan. But either way, the Lakers were able to
Yeah.
sort of get away with it tonight. I do think that JJ, in more ways than one, is sort of searching right now. It's not just the Gabe thing. What you mentioned about the center rotation, I think is, you can see he tried the toxic positivity thing with Ayton. Like, I think he saw DeAndre Ayton's career and he realized, like, every time someone yells at this guy, he does not get better. He immediately rolls over and quits. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to like make shirts and say he needs to be the lion. And like, we're really going to like love him up and embrace him. And like, I think that he was really trying for the entire first half of the season. And I think DeAndre Ayton has finally broken him. In the sense that he's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't be fake nice to you. Like, I am mad now. You're not playing in the fourth quarter. You pissed me off one too many times.
Yeah.
Like, JJ is like the Hulk. He can only hold it in for so long. And I think, admirable effort, but I think we're starting to see the end of the JJ DeAndre experiment.
So Miles is a terrible eater. Awful eater. Avery is an incredible eater. I actually feel really bad for her future significant others because her palate is insane. She loves crab. She loves it when I cook scallops. Loves steak. Like, eats sushi. Not raw fish because she's too young to do that clinically. But she just, everything that we put in front of her, she'll at least try. Miles, if it isn't like deep fried and crispy, he's just like, nah, I'm good. And every single night, Harrison, it goes exactly like you're talking about with JJ Redick and DeAndre Ayton, where it's like, Miles, come on, let's go sit at the table. Come on, let's go eat. And he's like, no, eat. Miles, let's go. Come on, bud. Let's go eat. No,
See, DeAndre has the opposite problem. He always wants to eat, but that's it. He doesn't
right.
want to do the other things.
Right. But eventually it turns into, Miles, you want to cry? I can make you cry. Go to your room, and like, and I feel like that's essentially where JJ Redick has arrived with Ayton is like, DA, I tried, like, fucking care. Try that, huh?
Yeah.
Commit a foul.
He's going like Will Hardy in that viral sideline timeout, like every timeout on DeAndre Ayton at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of calling these timeouts. Just try.
Right. Like, well, it's like I said earlier in the year, it's like how many times do you recall DeAndre Ayton picking up a flagrant foul? Like, I feel like every center has to, over the course of every starting center has to, over the course of a season, pick up like 5 flagrant fouls.
Sometimes on the Wizards mascot.
Well,
you gotta let them know. Don't come in my airspace, gee whiz.
but like, every so often, like a starting caliber center needs to, if somebody's driving to the basket, just like Andrew Bynum, JJ Barea.
You would think even at some point inadvertently on a bad angle, you would get someone with a flagrant, with how many shots you're supposed to be contesting. It's like maybe you're not a dirty player, but you catch someone at the wrong angle with your elbow, they took off of 1 foot, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't happen because if a guard jumps into Ayton, he like falls backwards, like it's just, and I can totally understand it, JJ being at the point here where he's like, you know what, man, just go sit over there.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was kind of telling that he went to Maxey, the guy that he played with, the guy that he actually trusts, and
well, the guy who will commit a flagrant foul if sometimes on purpose.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I actually think that Maxey has a chance of being a part of the rotation moving forward. If the Lakers are going to commit to being bigger, it's basically between him and Timmy who will get that shot at it. And the Lakers only have 1 roster spot. So if they decide to bring in a buyout player, that means that they wouldn't have the roster space to convert Timmy. So like JJ kind of sort of has an organizational question to answer here which I think is going to be really kind of interesting. But yeah, so the Lakers trade Gabe Vincent and a second rounder to the Atlanta Hawks. They get Luke Kennard, who is like actually one of the best shooters in the sport. You know, movement shooter, relocation shooter, spot up shooter. This dude is just a dead eye shooter, which means he's going to be shooting 23% in his first 5 games as a Laker from 3-point range.
Well, I also think that you know, the thing here is in my current job as somebody who oversees the entire SB Nation NBA network, I am aware of like more aware of like the fan climate in other fan bases than I would have been when I was like.
Really quickly, Harrison. There's a really good comment here from Marshawn about Ayton. It says every shot Ayton takes is falling away from the rim. Doesn't matter how close to the rim he is or how small the guy in front of him he may be. Everything is falling away from the rim. He's soft as baby shit. I was thinking about this. I think Ayton is the first player I've ever seen take a fall away dunk.
Well, I mean, you also use the F word there, so now Raj can't listen to any more of this episode, and so.
It's true. Sorry, Raj. All right, so go ahead though. Like going back to your role as manager over many sites and many writers and all that stuff.
So I'm very aware. I'm more aware than I would have been when I was covering the Lakers of like fan climate around other teams, and like their pet peeves with which player is their Gabe Vincent, who is constantly going viral because they are pissed off at this guy. And a theme that I have noticed is that is Luke Kennard for almost every single team that he plays for. His fan base is invariably driven insane by him because for a guy that is as good of a shooter as you were talking about, he legitimately is. I think Billy Mack gave some stat on the broadcast on like the threes that NBA.com classifies as wide open. He's like over 50%. Like he is lights out electric shooter. He is a little bit of an efficiency merchant, where like if he doesn't think that it's a good shot, he is absolutely not going to take it. He is not going to go gunning. Like it's the opposite problem of like it's the opposite problem of like somebody like a Marcus Smart. The knock on him is like, man, maybe a little less willing sometimes. And like Luke Kennard, it's like, hey, you're one of the best shooters in the league. Can you let it fly, even if there's a guy sort of closing out at you hard, and just trust that you're going to get it over him? And during his career, the answer to that has been no. I will not do that. And so I am, he should be as open as he's ever been with LeBron, Austin, and Luka at some point. But I am, I would say Lakers fans, like, don't get too excited yet, because this feels like a guy. If I know my friends, you're going to end up hating him at some point, probably. I'm sorry.
All I ask of Kennard is to make the momentum 3. Make the 3 that forces the other team to call timeout. Turn a 9-point lead into a 12-point lead. Turn a 15-point lead into an 18-point lead. Like, just make the back-breaking 3 that, like, the fans of the team that you're playing against is like, no, not, like the ball rotates over, Kennard's wide open, and you're like, God, all right, call timeout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm asking, because how often was that, Gabe, where the ball rotates over and Gabe is shooting there, and rather than the other team's fans saying, God, all right, call timeout, it's us going like, please, Gabe, make this the one-time clank, and like, that's all I ask of him. I think tops Kennard. I honestly think not Raj, Harrison. I honestly think the bigger factor in this is not having Gabe. Like, Kennard can play his like 10 to 12 or maybe 10 to 15 minutes a game, and whatever happens in those 10 to 15 minutes a game, cool. But unless he becomes like the new Gabe and he plays way too much because he can shoot. But just the amount of responsibility and leeway that Gabe had in that rotation, I think actually made the Lakers a worse basketball team. And removing that factor away from the rotation is something that I think is genuinely going to really help. And like, whatever you get in terms of production from Kennard is I think a huge plus. so long as it doesn't come at such a crazy cost that and what's actually interesting is that he's going to be coming off of the bench and he'll be playing in units with Marcus Smart and with Jake LaRavia and with Jared Vanderbilt, and with Jackson Hayes. So he'll actually be kind of protected defensively, I think. All he needs to do is just go out there and like be a threat, knock down the threes that you can, and then get out of the game before the defense becomes too big of an issue. But just like honestly, his jersey could say not Gabe Vincent, and I'd be perfectly fine with it.
He's also, I don't want to overreact because this is going to be a, 10 to 15 minutes a game role player max probably. And so, as a change of pace shooter, I'm not mad about the move. Like, I think, using a second is whatever. We can't even say like with the Lakers scouting department, you don't really want to waste the second because the Lakers don't have a scouting department. So I don't know how good or bad this one is going to be on second rounders whenever they do hire some. And so, this is not a big deal. I'm just, I have my antennas up for Kennard. Like I'm a little worried, but I do think that there is something to the idea of taking away the coach's security blanket a little bit. We saw this with Byron Scott, obviously much worse coach than JJ Redick, during his Lakers tenure. Yeah. But when the Lakers basically told him, they're like, hey, like, I forget if Ronnie Price got hurt or if Mitch Kupchak just shot him into the sun or like what they did to get Ronnie Price out of the rotation. But as soon as that happened, it was like, oh, Jordan Clarkson's able to play more and have some freedom. And Jeremy Lin is playing a little bit more free out there and is moving the ball and that kind of stuff. And like, I just think that, if you take away a guy, sort of like when the Lakers, when Taurean Prince would miss games. It's like, hey, they actually look a lot better when they're bigger and, they're playing these lineups that are not.
And it wasn't because Taurean was some terrible player. He was just like completely out-assed.
Yeah.
Like his responsibilities were just like way beyond what he could possibly provide. And it made him a much worse.
And I think that was the thing for Gabe Vincent too. There were times this year where the plan was let Gabe Vincent cook and he can't do that. He was going to burn the kitchen down every single time. And, just because he was going to burn it down like slightly less than the person behind him, he was still sort of set up for failure.
Right. The other, I think maybe even the bigger story than the move that the Lakers actually made were the moves that they didn't. And the move in the NBA that didn't happen was Giannis Antetokounmpo not being traded by the Bucks. And Harrison, I'm completely out on Giannis. I'm good.
This is just because of the interviews and the tweets, or like what
that tweet that he sent after the deadline was so fucking lame. Like it was just so lame. Like the whole I'm just telling everybody, I'm not leaving. And it's like, you could have sent that 4 days ago. And
you could have sent that 4 months ago.
Yeah, like you could send it. Like nobody believes you either. By the way, like this is the other thing is that every time Giannis talks about his commitment to the city of Milwaukee or to the Bucks organization, all that stuff, there's always this big ass but.
Yeah, it's always I love this city and I grew up here, and nothing against the city. And then he doesn't say I want to stay though,
Right. And it's like, look, man, I am rooting for you to commit to Milwaukee. This is the funny thing is that Milwaukee fans, because I sent out a tweet saying that Giannis was really lame there. And
they were mad at me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said that he and the Bucks are that couple that stopped getting invited to stuff because they break up very publicly every time everybody is and it's like, guess what, everybody, we're back together. And by the time the fourth or fifth time, we're like, guess what, everybody, we're back together. Everybody's like, oh, cool. That's where I'm at right now. It's like, yeah, I'm happy for the city of Milwaukee that you guys get to keep your star, who, by the way, would not run pick and rolls with Damian Lillard and made that team worse as a result of it. I am still skeptical, by the way, of whether or not he and Luka would work because he's all focused on this point forward thing, And so I'm at the stage here where he's like, all right, I'm not going anywhere. And it was like, it was the perfect amount of lame that like set me off.
Well,
Just
he
like
also
sign your extension, remain a Milwaukee Buck for the rest of your career, retire there, be beloved. Don't leave. Like, don't, and also Lakers, give up on it. Like, have you seen poor Warriors fans' timelines today?
no, actually, that reminds me. I should go look though. That's probably
Oh my
hilarious.
God. There's a report, I think from either Shams or Ramona, that like the Warriors were in on Jaren Jackson Jr. earlier in the week, but then they got like a small sniff that maybe just maybe Giannis would be available, and they like moved off of the Triple J negotiations, and like all Warriors fans are like, Jaren would have been fine. That would have been great. Do that, and that's where I'm at here with like this Giannis stuff, where it's like, and look, like, I'm not saying Giannis is their only option, although I do think they've put a lot of eggs into the Giannis basket, right, with basically 2 straight transaction windows that they've pretty much sat out, especially from a trade standpoint, and yet, like, that would make one think that they would be pot committed to Giannis. I'm begging you, Rob. I am begging the rest of the Lakers organization. Do not do this. Do not, because the thing is, Giannis has like the day that he has to sign his extension is actually in like October. So the Lakers could theoretically sit out all of this offseason. You know what I'm saying? They could sit out all of this offseason hoping that he doesn't sign that extension. And then once he doesn't sign his extension, his price drops a bunch. But while you're sitting out, you're missing out on actually building a roster around Luka. And I'm at the point here, and tonight I think was a great example of it, because Austin is so cheap, because LeBron is still LeBron, because you were able to get Marcus Smart at a discount and Jake LaRavia at a discount and all these things, because like the Lakers won the game tonight through depth. And I think this was the basketball gods like basically telling the Lakers, depth is the answer. It's not
and they're not even that deep.
They aren't, but they were deep enough. And that's where I'm watching this game play out, and I'm watching the way that this thing has gone for Warriors fans with Giannis. And I'm at the point here where like, I don't know about his fit with Luka. I don't know how he's going to age. I think he's corny as shit. I'm good. Move on.
I also did you see the other post where he's like I'm not a pencil but still drawing all the attention, and it's like, you are being a high school. It's okay. She already logged out, I'm sure. Not even gonna know that she got a shout out. I guess we'll find out if I get a text. But it just, to me, the thing that I was on Ball this morning, and I was talking about this, and then I made the comp on Twitter too, was like, this feels very Dwightmare to me at this point. Like I watched the Dwightmare live in real time as somebody who was a much younger Laker fan at the time, and saying like, oh man, the Lakers get Dwight, it's going to be over for the league. That's the best center in the league, da, da, da. And then it's like all the sort of red flags that were causing people to Orlando to maybe be a little wary of him, and that we ended up defining the rest of his career essentially in retrospect, or the rest of his prime, were sort of like blaring at us, and we were like, it's star, you go get the star and you figure it out later and whatever. And it's like, without the sense of like, Kobe's going to hate this guy. And that all of those sort of complicating factors. And like, I don't know, Luka, Giannis, like I have no idea how their personalities would or wouldn't mesh. But I do think that a lot of the stuff that you mentioned in terms of his, like, it is the same thing that I've been bringing up when I'm saying, like, if you're the Lakers, like, go get it on the aftermath of this trade. Try to get your Drew Holiday in the aftermath of this trade. Don't spend all this time just waiting on Giannis. Use the cap space to try and fill out your depth and get role players, because again, like, if he wasn't going to run pick and rolls with Dame, he's gonna set solid screens for Luka. I just have to trust that that's going to happen. Like, I have to trust that Rob Pelinka has like thought to ask that, and isn't just like, oh, 2 All-Stars, hooray. Plus Austin almost made the All-Star team. That's 3 All-Stars. Now we have our Brooklyn Nets.
I have it on pretty good authority that is actually how he thinks of things. But
yeah. Well, So I just, yeah, I'm not sold on the fit, and honestly, it would be the nicest basketball story if he just finished that. Like, go be Milwaukee's Kobe.
Yes.
Like they love you there already. You already won a title. Like you don't have to do this.
I and this is the funny thing. Milwaukee fans are like angry at me when really I am rooting for you guys. I am rooting for Milwaukee fans. Keep your star.
Yeah, keep him
Like,
and like keep him from talking.
yes, just stop. And now I also think there is something to be said about this because this was I don't want to sound like I'm throwing too much dirt on ESPN for this, but there were certainly enough people that I spoke to around the league today who were like, was this ever real? Or did ESPN think they were going into a quiet deadline and did Shams drum up some stuff? You know? Because I thought it was really weird, Harrison, that we got that report from earlier this summer. That from Shams that the Knicks were the only team on Giannis's list. By the way, we never got a Giannis actual list, right? Like I thought that was a little interesting. But
Well, he never made a list, Anthony. He never wanted to leave Milwaukee. Okay,
oh
it
yeah.
was just his. It
Okay.
was his agent going rogue.
Yeah. Him and Dalton. It happens sometimes.
Yeah,
But like yeah, like
I
we
wish
never got a
Dalton had
list.
posted the "I'm not fucking leaving" clip actually after the trade. Like, see, that would have been funny if he had done that. Like, that's funny. Giannis, like, it's kind of corny. Dalton, it would have been very funny.
That would have been really funny. That would have been amazing. But yeah, like I just wish there was a world where Dalton was that clever. He'd probably be a better basketball player.
There's no chance he stuck it out through all of Wolf of Wall Street if he even started it. He's like, there are no wolves in this movie.
Is it a wall or a street? But so like, yeah, like the whole like Giannis thing, Shams taught, reports earlier in the summer that apparently Giannis or his agent went to the box and was like, "Yeah, I'm open, or my client is open to a trade."
No, his client isn't.
And
The agent is open to you trading his client, just all
yeah,
on his own.
and the only team that the agent's client was interested in was the New York Knicks, right? And they had this. Apparently, there was this exclusive negotiating window where the sides never came anywhere near even like close. There was no, neither side thought that the other side was being real about it. And then over the course of all of this thing, at no point were the Knicks considered like a viable contender for Giannis, which I thought was really odd, right? Like you go from exclusive negotiating window, Mikal becomes trade eligible in ways that he wasn't when you had that exclusive negotiating window. Now all of a sudden he is trade eligible, and you still like don't really take this entire scenario very seriously. Maybe they really, really believe in that core. Maybe they really, really believe in Cat. Maybe they just couldn't find a different home for Cat to open up enough picks to actually become a factor in these conversations. All viable explanations. But there's like an odd amount of noise about like, was this a Shams creation? And I don't know, man. Like, I'm not going to go so far as to say like I outright believe it, but I heard it from enough people that I trust. They were like that I can't completely discount it.
That's sort of how it felt. Like, again, I don't think he created this out of thin air, but I do think that the amount that it was talked about was like, we need something for trade deadline week. Like, we need a saga. It's like this kind of
It was like
happened,
the
and maybe
Pelinka
it's
thing.
happening, and the Bucks are listening because the Bucks know that they're screwed, but like they don't really want to move him. It's like, maybe if somebody comes in with some sort of Godfather offer that didn't really seem to be available, then they'll do it because they understand that like where this is and that it's like probably over, but that they didn't really want to do that, and that there weren't a whole lot of it doesn't even seem like Giannis wanted to push for it that hard because he's, I guess, convinced that people are going to be mad at him in Milwaukee. Where I think Bucks fans would just kind of be like, "Hey, thanks for the good years, man, and like we appreciate the title, and we understand like our team tried to do everything it could, and we're out of assets, and this is the end of the road. And so if you want to win, you got to go somewhere else."
The funny thing is, with his reaction to not being traded today, I actually think now he can't ask out after this.
Oh, see,
You know what I mean?
overestimate the amount of shame that any superstar player has ever felt.
No,
Like
but but like if you're, because before, had he been traded today, or even if he wasn't traded today and he didn't like tweet out that send that tweet that he sent, I think if like he doesn't do that, and if the understanding is basically like, look, we'll give it a go. Milwaukee wants to see what the market looks like after the season. I still think Bucks fans probably would have been like, yeah, we kind of understand that. Sucks. Don't want to see Giannis traded, but this sucks. But now, like, Milwaukee's probably going to make some other desperation move at the beginning of the summer, trying to convince Giannis to stay. Giannis is going to do that thing, kind of like with Portland, right? Like Portland signed Jeremy Grant to that extension, and then Dame was like, "I'm still good," and he asked out anyway. Like I feel like that's how Bucks fans are now, where it's like, all right, don't get my hopes up. Like just leave if you wanted to leave, but now you do the "I'm back, I'm not going anywhere" thing, and then you go right back to, well, I want to win a championship, and it's like, which is it, dude? Like you can't continue to try to have it both ways here.
Was this all a like ruse not to drum up trade deadline coverage interest, but to drum up interest in Shams' appearance in the Celebrity All-Star game? Generate fake beef with his coach Giannis.
Shams should demand a trade.
Yeah, Doc was already, Doc. He's always got jokes. He was joking that Shams is on the trade block. He heard from Coach Giannis. So,
oh, well, I mean, I wonder if Giannis was like, "Stay over there, dude."
I do wonder if, I do wonder if like part of the Knicks' lack of interest is like if they, because again, I don't know like what did or didn't happen in this exclusive negotiating Amazon Prime Giannis deal day window that they were granted. But like if they got a chance to talk to Giannis and like that was, they were granted permission for that. And they asked him like, "So dude, would you sign the extension if we offer it?" And he gave them like a 20-minute soliloquy on like friendship and like his commitment to Milwaukee and how like he just loves the city of Milwaukee and he would never want to leave. But if you do trade for me, like I'll try my best and whatever. And they were like, "Okay, yeah, I don't want to deal with this guy on a daily basis."
I wouldn't blame him. I want to talk about like from the Lakers
steps to success, guys. It's not about the trade today. It's about steps to success.
That was the red flag. I keep going back to that. Like it does really annoy me. Could you imagine if like LeBron was this kind of corny, or if like, because we get on Harden for asking out of the situation there with the Clippers and all that stuff. It's like, I think what Giannis is doing is worse. Like, I would much rather a guy just rip off, like, AD gets all the shit that he does for the "That's All Folks" T-shirt or whatever, but at least people were able to move on.
James Harden has the honesty to just tell you, he's like, I can get the fat suit out, or you could send me where I want to go. It's up to you how you want to play this.
Right. Yeah. From the Lakers standpoint, like, how comfortable are you with no trades last summer? A trade on the peripheries this time. They're doing the spin cycle of like, did you see, Harrison, that there was a tweet that Chris Haynes sent from like 2 years ago that perfectly described what the Lakers are like?
No, I didn't.
Did you see that? It was like Chris Haynes sent the tweet, and it was like the Lakers, he's like, sources tell, I think at that time he was at NBA on TNT. It was like, sources tell at NBA on TNT, and that's the only signifier that like would tell you that
separate it from today.
Years ago.
Yeah.
But he was like, the Lakers are not making a trade. They are looking ahead to the summer when they have 3 first-round picks, and I don't know if he mentioned cap space in that trade or in that tweet, but it was like I literally did a double take when I was looking. I was like, wait, is that from? That seems early because I first saw it on Wednesday. I was like, that's really early for the Lakers to be made. Oh no, this is from a couple of years ago. This is just so like such a cyclical
This is just
situation
what
that
Rob does every year that he doesn't make a deal. Is he talks about how many picks he'll have this summer.
right, right. And so like how comfortable are you with this plan of like not really giving it a go this year when we were told, hey, expiring contracts are more valuable actually at the deadline than they are back at last summer? Like I don't know. I'm
Which is
I'm at the
true,
point here,
but
huh?
you have, which is true, but you have to use them.
Well, it's true, but you have to attach things
Like
to
a
them.
50 is worth more than a 20, but if you don't spend it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So like I don't know. How comfortable are you on like potentially stepping onto this same treadmill this time with Luka, because cynically, I don't know. It just seems like we always talk about how Rob's top priority is remaining employed
Keep his job, Rob.
and yeah, keep his job, Rob. And the way that you keep your job is to continue to sell your owner who wants to continue to employ you on hope down the line. And the way that you keep your job is to not make a deal now that could possibly backfire that she would then have to fire you for if it backfires. And that's what he did for the whole back half of the LeBron AD era. And it feels like what he's doing again here this time.
I am actually completely comfortable because I do not have the same concerns that Mark Walter is going to be as blindly loyal to Rob as Jeannie was at times. And I also think that like Rob has not earned that level of benefit of the doubt with Mark Walter. And I like they don't have a 20 plus year relationship going back to, when he was Kobe's agent and all this stuff. And like, where he's been by her side through thick and thin and all of that stuff, like real friendships and relationships that build up. Like he doesn't have that here. He has to prove himself to this new boss. And I'm actually totally fine with him not making deals. But the thing is if your plan is to get Giannis, then you better get Giannis and it better work. Because if it doesn't,
Yeah.
then it means like your plan kind of sucks. Because if every single time your plan is, well, we're going to get the star, but then if we don't get the star, we're just going to waste another year of everybody's time, then like that's not a plan. That's just like hoping that something good lands in your lap. And I guess every so often, like one of your best friends will lose their mind and like trade you his superstar player that he just like keeps texting you. He's like, yeah, he's such a fat loser.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a plan that you can count on either. And so I'm totally fine. But like to me, this is Rob sticking his neck out. I don't think intentionally, but I do think that he is in a way by like saying, "Hey, have faith. We're going to get something done. Like I don't want to use our assets now and mess up our cap space. Like we need to use this cap space." It's like, "Okay, show me how you use the cap space then."
Would you feel differently if, as part of the transaction, the purchase and sale of the Lakers, Genie maintained power for the next like 3 to 5 years?
Well, so maintain power, yes, but like I
No, like
think
maintain the ability or the final decision on whether or not to fire Rob.
do we
I'm
think
not.
that's in the contract? I kind of doubt it because
I don't know.
Mark.
I don't know.
My guess is no, that is not in there. That you have final decision making
I
power
hope
over
not.
all basketball ops. And so like I do think that there is a point where it's like, okay, like yeah, like yes, you are the governor of the team and whatever, but I'm the majority stakeholder, and like I'm the one spending all this money. Like we need to do something. And so,
Yeah.
if you don't want to, if you want to stay here, that's fine. But like, Rob needs to bring in help. Rob needs to hire a more robust staff beneath him. Rob needs an advisor on the side, like the Dennis Lindsay to his Nico Harrison. It's like maybe Rob just is the relationships guy and that's what he's good at. And you get the basketball mind to come in and sort of help him out and augment that, the basketball mind that is not Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
And like, if Rob doesn't want that, too bad, you know?
That I think is the point to make here in that I think we're going to find out very soon after this season ends what the situation is between like how much power Genie has, how much like how safe Rob is, all that stuff. Because um I asked about it again today, and the Lakers haven't filled those scouting jobs that people were fired from. And
Cool.
yeah, and like now I will give them a little bit of grace. It's kind of difficult to do that over the course of the season, although I don't think that there is some like severely limited number of NBA scouts who only know like how to
What
look
does
at basketball.
what does Rob
But
Pelinka think the easy parts of his job are? Because all I hear are about the hard parts of how hard it is to be a GM and
well,
president of
it's I
basketball
think I
operations.
think he makes it
Simultaneous,
harder
two
on him.
jobs. You could have somebody else do one of the jobs. There used
I
to be
think
two
he
people
makes
in
it
those jobs.
I think he makes it harder on himself though, Harrison, because he's a control freak. He does like look at the way that his agency operated before.
Yeah,
It was an
yeah.
extremely thin agency given the amount of money that was going in and out of that building. And so like I and this is the thing. I think we're gonna know. I'm not gonna predict it one way or the other. But I think we will know very early on what this next era is going to look like, or at least the beginning of this next era is going to look like with Rob holding any kind of power because he's up against he like it's the unstoppable force and immovable object, right? Where he is the immovable object, right? He has a particular vision for how he wants to run an organization, and it does not feature big, built out teams with a whole bunch of input, right? That is not how he likes to operate. However, the unstoppable force is Mark Walter and how he likes to run his organizations. That's the incoming force that is going to meet up against this immovable wall. And I think we're going to know very early on in the summer how this is going to go. And I thought like given the way that today played out would maybe lend itself to the notion that status quo might be kind of moving like continuing on until it like 100% backfires, right? So if Giannis gets moved in the summer and it isn't to the Lakers, I think that would be the impetus to really, have Rob sit down in an office and be like, "Hey man, we got to change how we're doing things here." But by that point it might be too late. How many prime years do we think we actually have with Luka? He just pulled his hamstring again tonight. When the Lakers traded for him, he had a tweaked calf that affected his playoff run. Like, given the way that he treats his body, are we positive that he's going to have even half the prime that Kobe or LeBron had? I don't know.
I am still trying to maintain some hope that that stuff is going to continue to get better. Like if he is in a different environment and if there are people to hold him accountable. And right now, I don't know if those people are there.
Yeah.
And so again, that's something that it's either going to have to come internally eventually, or it's going to have to come from a wider organization being built out.
And we'll see if it is, you know. And
He
I
is
don't want to.
still
I
he
don't.
is still really young. It's still like there is still time for
Oh,
him to
I'm much
decide.
less worried about Luca than I am Rob
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean. Like
Genie.
I'm not. We've seen guys with Luka's resume just decide like at 27, 28. It's like, okay, I'm never eating pizza again, or whatever it is. Like I'm not going to drink during the entire season anymore. I'm going to go vegan. I'm going to do whatever
I was
like
just gonna say
whatever it is that
LeBron did
works
it
for them.
this year.
And
Like
yeah,
LeBron, we've seen the difference in LeBron over the course of the season after he has cut out drinking. Hell shit, dude. I'm even drinking less to the extent that I do nowadays. I feel it in my joints. I went and played 18 holes of golf last weekend and was able to wear like because for a while there, because like I had too much extra weight on my feet and stuff like that. I had to wear like a specific kind of shoe that isn't really great for golf, but I've lost enough weight recently that I've been able to go out there and play with actual like golf shoes and stuff and felt great afterward. that stuff, like you do reach a point in your
Yeah.
life where, like for me, the impetus was kids and Jen and wanting to be here as long as I possibly can. And for some athletes, it's like I want to extend my prime. I want to see how high up that list I can climb. And I
I
think
just
Luka
want to
is
have to stop
competitive
missing games
enough.
with hamstring injuries, you know?
Well, you saw how angry he was tonight.
Yeah.
He's there
Yeah.
kicking the scorer's table,
He
and,
is
and
he is a psychotic competitor. I have no doubt that Luka wants to win, like,
yeah,
or anything like that. Like, I do think that eventually there is going to be some light bulb switches where he is going to redevote some of his effort and his competitive fire into these other areas of the game and these other areas of being a star.
and
We already
also
saw it
like
this year. Like, he was as active as a leader as he's been in his career, really. And so, like,
yeah,
we are seeing that growth and development from him. And I think that him starting to reach outside of his comfort zone, it's not going to happen overnight. And I
exactly.
maybe it will never happen. Maybe he will have soft tissue injuries the rest of his career. Maybe he's just built like that, and it has nothing to do with him or his habits. But
I actually think I actually think there's a good chance here that it's going to get better. Like, so this was the first year, right? He does the men's fitness like photo
yeah,
shoot and all that stuff, and he gets into better shape. And like now, this upcoming summer is going to be, like he can kind of build on that momentum, and then the following summer that he can build on that momentum. And like Steve Nash is an example of this, where like over the course of his career, he actually got better with his conditioning, where like he learned new tricks and new dietary and new nutritionary things that really impacted his ability to stay in shape and stay healthy and all these things, because he had a terrible back for a long time. Steve Nash did. So
Dirk learned how to play without ever bending his knees.
ever leaving the floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So no, I'm if I were to rank like things that I was kind of worried about, I am far more worried about organizationally
yeah, me too.
if Rob is gonna have his feet pressed to the fire on like, no man, you gotta hire a scouting department. You gotta not override that scouting department. You gotta trust people, because like the nth degree example of the way that Rob kind of runs things is Neil O'Shea. And you talk to people who
Yeah,
worked for Neil O'Shea and they hated it. They hated it because it didn't matter how much work you put into your research. It didn't matter how much work you put into your scouting. It did. All that mattered was like Neil would gather all that information, make
and
his
then
own
he'd call
decision for
Woj and
himself.
ask what he thought he should do, and then
Yeah.
they decide how they were gonna like source it out there, and then they would just
Yeah.
do it.
But like Neil like had the ear of Paul Allen,
Yeah,
and like if it didn't work out, he would make an excuse or blame some other person in that Blazers organization, and that person would eat that decision, and Neil would continue on operating the way that he did. And I don't want that to be the Lakers. Like I actually think like if you had, this is going to sound really bad, condescending or whatever about Rob, but like if you had somebody who had an actual basketball ideology or a vision for how to build a roster out, and it was Rob's job to execute that vision, I think he's excellent at that.
yeah,
And if now I don't think he would accept that kind of a job now that he's had this top job. I think he would probably rather
yeah.
retire than be the go out and execute this kind of a deal guy. But um like that to me, what's the principle
Peter
on
Principle.
like Peter Principle? Yeah. I knew there was alliteration in it. But like in the Peter Principle, you can only climb so far, and then you climb one rung too high and you realize, "Oh, I'm a spot too high." And I feel like, you know, this job that Rob is in right now is one spot too high, that he
Yeah,
properly slots into an organization as just the GM, not the president of basketball operations, but just the GM.
or
And
the president of basketball operations with a GM who has that basketball vision. It's
yeah,
like you need the yin and yang. I actually think like Jeannie sort of had the right idea with the Magic and Rob together thing. She just picked the
yeah,
wrong basketball line.
yeah, probably. I mean, That's what
She
happens
picked
when
like
you don't
maybe the
interview
worst
anybody.
basketball mind she could have possibly picked. But like it was the right idea, you know.
I don't see. I don't question Magic's basketball mind. I question his work ethic with the Lakers because he was never there.
I think I'm not questioning Magic's basketball IQ. I question his team building acumen.
Yeah, and his work ethic, he was never there. Like,
Yeah,
Magic is great if he could throw money at a problem. You can't do that as president of basketball
yeah.
operations.
I just I wonder what Mike Muscala is up to today. Seeing that notification that Zubac just got traded for more first round
Two
picks.
first rounders and yeah. All right. Let me just. I don't know. We don't have any starred comments. We did get a question here that people are going to be curious about. Omar is asking, Irwin, any idea or rumor on who the Lakers are getting for the buyout? So, to the best of my understanding here, and things are kind of fuzzy, there isn't anybody on the buyout market that the Lakers are like falling over themselves to go out and sign.
I
They
guess
are
good so
trying.
far.
What's that?
I guess good so far. I haven't seen anyone
Yeah,
that like I'm falling all over myself that like I want them to sign. So
yeah.
fair enough.
Well, because like I was nervous when the Cam Thomas thing happened that like the Lakers would be like, move heaven and earth, go get that guy, like, but um, I'm sorry, Ryan. Did I? So the way that this works, so that everybody knows, it tells me starred comments, and I don't have any. So I'll scroll back up, Ryan, and see if there are starred comments. But anyway, like really quickly to answer this before we move on to the starred comments, the um the guys that I am interested in, I really want Haywood Highsmith. Now, a lot of teams really like the idea of Haywood Highsmith. He was a good defender for Miami. He's been hurt all year, which is the reason he's available. But he's the guy I would take a flyer on. The Lakers are basically weighing the decision though on, do you convert Drew Timmy? And I thought it was interesting he wasn't in the rotation tonight, so that would indicate to me that probably not happening. Do you convert Drew Timmy, or do you waive one of the guys that is on your roster with guaranteed money either for the rest of this year, if not the years moving forward? Dalton Connect has another year on his contract because it's a team option. The Lakers would be automatically picking up if they waived him. Uh, Bronny has
Ugh.
another year and another, I think, team option after that or
Come
player.
on, they're not waiving Bronny. They're not as much as they've antagonized LeBron this year. They're not. They're not
I'm not.
waiving
I'm just.
Bronny.
I'm just listing guys who have like smaller contracts who would otherwise, like in 2K, I would have waived them. Not waiving Edu Thero, right?
Yeah,
He's brand new there. Um, One of the benefits of converting Drew Timmy is that you would open up a two-way spot, so you could bring Kobe Buffkin into that two-way spot there. So that's another thing that they might be potentially thinking about doing. Personally, though, I would use that roster spot as soon as they possibly can on like a Haywood Highsmith. I think they're also kind of looking around the NBA landscape. Like, does Robert Williams shake loose? Does CJ
yeah.
McCollum shake loose? Does I think Kentavious Caldwell Pope has another year on his contract after this one, so I don't think he would. But like, players who are slightly overqualified to be bought out or waived, and the Lakers are kind of, because that's what happened with Spencer Dinwiddie a few years back, where out of nowhere the Raptors kind of waived him, and it was the easiest thing to report in the world. It was like, you guys are right. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I reported right away that the Lakers were interested in Dinwiddie. I think that's basically what they're looking to do now. It's like, we'll be patient. We'll see if anybody becomes available. I don't even think they can pay anybody a prorated minimum quite yet. I think they have to wait a little while still. But we will see who becomes available. And if nobody becomes available, I actually wouldn't be that upset at it being Timmy. I really like Timmy's game in a LeBron Luka team.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out how much Rob Pelinka's vision has changed and like more about his basketball worldview if they sign Cam Thomas.
If that happens, I would be pretty bummed.
Yeah.
Like,
What if we had Gabe who didn't try on defense?
We do have starred comments, so I'm going to play this really quick. All right, so first one here came from the Wannabe GMs podcast. Tell me Rob's going to sign Haywood. Fits like a glove. He's who I'm rooting for, 100%. Even if he's hurt, you're like, okay. Like the opportunity cost to signing Haywood Highsmith is just non-existent. So, yeah, he's who I'm kind of pulling for. We have Chenny Britt saying getting Harrison on the night show is quite the treat. Harrison After Dark is quite the sight to behold. Ryan Lucas writing Loki wave Ayton if Rob Will is available. They would. The thing there is that you're messing with Luka's agent because he and Ayton share an agent. And I don't know if you want to piss off Bill Duffy by waiving DeAndre Ayton.
Well, the extension's done, so
that's true.
You don't have to negotiate with him about Luka for another couple of years.
But like Rob Will is a perfect example of the kind of player that the Lakers are just kind of like hoping for, whether it's Rob Will or Matisse Thybulle, or you could kind of like scout out the rest of the they
could waive Hayes, couldn't they?
What's that?
They could waive Hayes, couldn't they?
Hayes isn't going anywhere. Luka really likes Hayes. But Xavier Tillman is another guy, right? He was just traded for tax purposes, and those guys usually tend to get waived.
Cooked. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the NBA.
I'm trying to think of other players who were traded for like tax purposes, and that's all that I can kind of think of. But think of that, like. Does Portland?
Well, they got to tell Bill Duffy, okay, you get to keep Jackson Hayes or you get to keep Ayton. You pick, and then we're signing Rob Williams to the other one. Yeah. Which one of your bad centers would you like us to keep?
I would love Robert Williams
if he plays, which in his history he doesn't do a whole lot. So
neither is Ayton. So.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can't believe I let him trick me. I went on so many rants this summer, and I completely fell for it.
Yeah. I mean, we all did. Like, he was saying all the right things. The Lakers were winning. It happens. He got us. All right. That is okay. So Jay Pizzle, thank you. I'm sorry. It is late. I am on all kinds of allergy drugs, and I did not remember this, but the Blazers apparently have to waive 2 players. So ideally, it would be Thybulle and Williams. If it's both of them, and the Lakers picked up both of those guys, that would make me really happy because people in Portland would be really pissed. But I think the Lakers would probably try to wind up with one of the 2 that they waive. I'd just be curious who they would. Thybulle hasn't been healthy all year, so you kind of run into the same problem that you would with Highsmith. Williams is almost never healthy, but he at least has made an impact on the season at one point.
There's also a lot of like, how much does Thybulle care about basketball talk around the league for the last
while? Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm rooting for Williams. I just think it's good to have 3 centers on your roster. So whether it's Timmy or Williams, like one of those 2 guys is
you want to have a backup to the backup in case one of your players fights the Wizards mascot.
Would you waive Maxey for Thybulle or Highsmith?
That's cold. I'm not going to say that tonight. That man played the best basketball game he's played in like 5 years. No, I'm not. No, too far.
That's fair. All right, Harrison, I've kept you here way too long. Is there anything you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just just SB Nation NBA, silver screen and roll if you're a Lakers fan, all that good stuff.
We do have a little bit of news, right? You are now a weekly contributor here to the lounge. That's good. Right?
Yeah,
You excited about that?
I mean, not right now because I'm very tired, but
More late nights like this. I'm 2 hours
yeah,
ahead of you and like 4 years older than you. How can you be like, how can I have more energy than you?
I don't know how much did you sleep last night.
Not much, dude. I slept with my mouth
Okay,
open
well,
because I
I don't know.
couldn't
Maybe I
breathe.
guess you're just built different. I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's
I'm
like mounds of
taller. It's the
cocaine off
energy has
camera.
to go further in my body. Like it's
Might have to go wider. We just stretch differently.
yeah.
All right. On that note, have a great rest of your night, everybody. Make somebody else's. That's going to do it. Pete is not available tomorrow, and I don't think he wants me sharing why. But he did say that because he is missing tomorrow, that we can maybe record an extra episode next week. Pete, Jovan, and I have actually been in touch about recording a Great Western Forum pod next week as well. So keep an eye out for that. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And until the next time you guys hear from me, have a great rest of your weekends. Make somebody else's. And I will talk to you on Sunday.